The Tale of Jack and Mr. Morgan. In a small farming town in Texas, there lived a wealthy and shrewd ranch owner named Mr. Morgan. He was notorious for his greed and his habit of exploiting the local farmers. He would lease out parcels of his ranch under harsh terms, ensuring that no matter how much effort the farmers put in, most of the profits ended up in his pocket. One day, Mr. Morgan sat on the porch of his grand ranch house with his loyal ranch hand, Earl, sipping iced tea and boasting about his business acumen. "These poor folks," Mr. Morgan sneered, "they break their backs from sunrise to sunset, and for what? Just enough to scrape by. Meanwhile, I sit here in the shade, and my barns are bursting with their hard work." "You're right, boss," Earl agreed. "No one dares to cross you in this town." Just then, a humble farmer named John Parker walked up to the porch, tipping his hat respectfully. "Mr. Morgan, sir," John began hesitantly, "I heard you lease out land for farming. I'd like to rent a piece of your land for a year." Mr. Morgan leaned back with a sly grin. "Of course, John. But there are conditions." "What kind of conditions, sir?" John asked nervously. "You'll work the land for a year," Mr. Morgan explained. "When the harvest comes, half of it is mine, and the other half is yours." Grateful for the opportunity, John agreed. He worked tirelessly day and night, pouring his sweat and effort into the fields. After months of hard labor, the crops thrived, and the fields were filled with golden corn. John's heart swelled with hope. Finally, he could feed his family and maybe save a little for the future. Hearing about the successful harvest, Mr. Morgan arrived at the fields with Earl. "Well, John," Mr. Morgan said, "looks like you've done well this year. Now, remember our agreement. Half of the harvest is mine." John nodded respectfully but sighed as Mr. Morgan and Earl loaded up the best ears of corn, leaving John with the smaller, damaged ones. As the two men rode off laughing, John sat down by the field, his head in his hands. That evening, John's son, Jack, returned home from college. "Pa, why are you so down?" Jack asked, noticing his father's distress. "Son, this is how things are," John replied sadly. "Men like Mr. Morgan take advantage of us, and there's nothing we can do about it." Jack's eyes narrowed with determination. "Not anymore, Pa, leave it to me." The next day, Jack visited Mr. Morgan. "Mr. Morgan," Jack said with a confident smile, "I'd like to lease your land for the next season." Mr. Morgan smirked. "Oh, you think you're smarter than your father, do you? Fine. But here's the deal, you can keep whatever grows below the ground. I'll take everything above it." Jack grinned. "Agreed, sir." Instead of planting corn like his father, Jack planted carrots. When harvest season came, Mr. Morgan and Earl showed up with wagons, expecting a bountiful haul. "All right, Jack," Mr. Morgan said, "time to collect my share." "Of course, Mr. Morgan," Jack replied, pointing to the field. "Take whatever grows above the ground." Mr. Morgan's face turned red as he realized the field was full of leafy carrot tops with no value. Meanwhile, Jack proudly dug up crates of plump carrots from beneath the soil. "Boss, he got you good," Earl muttered, shaking his head. The following season, Jack approached Mr. Morgan again. "I'd like to lease your land once more," Jack said with a polite smile. This time, Mr. Morgan grinned wickedly. "Fine. But this time, I'll take what grows below the ground. You can have everything above." Jack agreed without hesitation. He planted wheat. When the harvest came, Mr. Morgan eagerly arrived at the field. "Jack," he called, "I'll take my share now." "Of course, sir," Jack said, gesturing to the field. "The roots are all yours." Mr. Morgan's jaw dropped as Jack harvested the golden grains from above, leaving behind useless roots. "Boss, he's outsmarted you again," Earl groaned. Fuming, Mr. Morgan declared, "Next season, I'll take both the top and the bottom of the crops. You can only keep what grows in the middle." Jack nodded respectfully. When the next planting season came, Jack planted sugarcane. As the stalks grew tall, Mr. Morgan felt confident he'd finally won. When harvest day came, Jack handed over the roots and the top leaves of the sugarcane. Then he cut the sweet, valuable middle stalks and loaded them onto his wagon. "Boss, he's done it again," Earl said in disbelief. Mr. Morgan slumped to the ground, defeated. Jack approached him and spoke gently. "Mr. Morgan, farmers work hard to feed others. They deserve fairness and respect. Taking advantage of their hard work is wrong." Mr. Morgan sighed deeply. "You're right, Jack. I've been too greedy for too long." The next day, Mr. Morgan gathered all the farmers in town and announced that he would return the lands he had taken and treat them fairly from then on. The town flourished, and Jack became a hero, not just for his cleverness, but for restoring dignity to the hard-working farmers. Even Mr. Morgan became a respected and fair ranch owner. This story teaches us that intelligence, determination, and fairness can triumph over greed and injustice. It reminds us of the value of respect for labor and the power of creative problem-solving in the face of exploitation.